In a busy town of red buses and rushing people lived a very small, nameless cat. He was the color of a dusty ginger biscuit, striped like a lost little tiger. He darted between legs and under market stalls, barely noticed by anyone. Each day was a hunt for scraps, a dropped chip, a leaky milk carton, a baker's bin. He knew every secret alley and hiding spot, always alert, always ready to run. But more than hunger or cold, loneliness was his constant companion. At night he watched families through glowing windows, longing for warmth and gentle hands. The world inside those windows was a dream, one he could only watch from the shadows. When night fell, the town grew cold and silent. The cobblestones chilled his paws and he searched for shelter, sometimes newspapers behind the chip shop, sometimes under a bush. Hunger gnawed at him, and lucky finds were rare. Rain was the worst, soaking his fur and flooding his hiding places. On wet nights, he curled up wherever he could, dreaming of warmth. He learned to fear sudden movements and loud voices, always keeping his distance. Bigger street cats chased him away and people shooed him off. Trust was a luxury he couldn't afford. The world was harsh, and he survived by staying invisible. He was a lonely soul, wrapped in caution and mistrust. One gray, blustery Tuesday, the city seemed to sigh beneath a heavy sky. The wind howled through narrow alleys, rattling windows and sending leaves tumbling in frantic spirals. Rain tapped a steady rhythm on the rooftops, painting the world in shades of silver and blue. It was the kind of afternoon that made people hurry home, collars turned up, eyes fixed on the ground, eager to escape the chill that seeped into every corner. Beneath a tangled hedge, a little cat huddled, shivering from the cold and hunger gnawing at his belly. His fur, once soft and clean, was now damp and clumped from the relentless drizzle. He pressed himself deeper into the shadows, hoping to disappear, to become just another forgotten shape in the gloom. Each passing car sent a fresh spray of water his way, and every footstep made him flinch, heart pounding with uncertainty. Cars splashed through puddles, their tires hissing on the wet road, while people hurried by, umbrellas bobbing and boots splashing, each one too busy to notice the small, frightened creature hidden just out of sight. The world moved quickly, indifferent to the little cat's struggle. Except for one person. A person in a bright red scarf paused, their steps slowing as they noticed the tiny figure beneath the hedge. Instead of rushing past, they knelt quietly nearby, careful not to startle the cat. The scarf's color was a warm splash against the gray, a small act of defiance against the dreariness all around. They didn't reach out or make any sudden moves. Instead, they simply offered a gentle, "Hello there, little one," their voice soft and kind, barely louder than the rain. It was an invitation, not a demand. A promise that, for a moment, the cat was safe. The cat froze, every muscle tense, ready to dart away at the slightest threat. But the person didn't move closer, they simply waited, patient and kind, letting the cat decide what would happen next. The world around them kept rushing by, but in that small space time seemed to slow. For the first time, the little cat felt truly seen, not just a shadow or a nuisance but a living creature worthy of notice. The person's eyes met his, not with pity but with understanding and warmth. The person's calm presence was a gentle contrast to the city's usual rush. While the world blurred past in a hurry, here was someone willing to pause, to share a quiet moment with a frightened soul. It was as if, for a heartbeat, the noise and chaos faded away, leaving only the possibility of kindness. The cat didn't run. Instead he watched, curiosity flickering through the fear in his eyes. Something about this person felt different, safe perhaps, or simply patient enough to wait for trust to grow. In that moment, a tiny crack of light broke through the clouds, illuminating the cat's hiding place. It was as if hope itself had found a way in, warming the cold air and softening the edges of his loneliness. For a moment, he wasn't invisible. The world, so often indifferent, had paused to notice him, to offer a sliver of comfort and connection. It was the beginning of something new, a fragile hope, a chance for trust, and the first step toward a brighter tomorrow, even on the dreariest of afternoons. The person with the red scarf returned every day, always gentle, always patient. They spoke softly, never rushing, and the cat began to recognize their footsteps. One day they placed a few crunchy treats on the pavement, then stepped back. The smell was irresistible, but his instincts screamed caution. Hunger won out. He darted out, snatched a treat, and retreated. The person didn't move, just smiled and waited. Day after day, this ritual continued, each time a little less fearful. The treats became a bridge between two worlds. Slowly, trust began to grow, crumb by crumb. The cat started to look forward to these meetings. Kindness was something he was learning to believe in. Weeks passed, and the cat grew bolder. He emerged as soon as he heard the familiar footsteps eating treats while the person watched. A bowl of fresh water appeared, luxury compared to puddles. His coat grew glossier, his frame stronger. One day after eating he lingered, curiosity outweighing fear. The person extended a hand, palm up, not moving closer. The cat sniffed the air, then took a hesitant step. He touched the tip of a finger with his nose. A first brave contact. It was a small gesture, but a giant leap toward trust. Friendship was no longer just a dream. Winter's chill set in, and the little ginger cat huddled in his makeshift shelter, a battered cardboard box wedged between two trash bins. The wind howled through the alley, carrying flurries of snow that dusted his fur and made him shiver uncontrollably. Each night felt longer than the last, and hunger gnawed at his belly as he curled tighter, trying to remember the warmth of a home he once knew, or perhaps only dreamed of. One morning, as the world was still and silent, a person noticed the trembling cat. Their eyes softened with concern, and they returned a short while later, arms full. They brought a soft, fleecy blanket and a sturdier cardboard box, carefully tucking the blanket inside and placing the new shelter near the hedge, away from the biting wind. The person spoke gently, their voice a rare kindness in the cold, and then stepped back, giving the cat space. After the person left, curiosity and desperation drew the cat closer. He sniffed the unfamiliar scent, then cautiously stepped inside. The blanket was softer than anything he'd felt in months, and as he curled up, warmth seeped into his bones. For the first time in a long while, he felt safe enough to close his eyes and truly rest, the ache in his body easing just a little. He purred, a rusty, forgotten sound of contentment that surprised even himself. The gentle vibration in his chest was a memory of better days, and for a moment, the world outside faded away. The next day the person returned, this time carrying a cat carrier. The door was left wide open, and inside a handful of treats glimmered invitingly. The person knelt nearby, speaking in soft, encouraging tones but never reaching out or rushing the cat. The cat hesitated at the threshold, torn between fear and hope. The scent of the treats was irresistible, and the memory of the person's kindness lingered. Step by cautious step, he crept forward, hunger and a fragile trust guiding him into the carrier's warmth. With a gentle click, the door closed behind him. The sound echoed in the small space, signaling the end of his street life. For a heartbeat, panic fluttered in his chest, but the familiar voice soothed him, promising safety. The journey was strange and full of unfamiliar noises, but the person's calm voice and gentle words eased his fears. He pressed against the side of the carrier, watching the world blur by, uncertain but no longer alone. When the carrier finally opened, he blinked in surprise. Instead of cold and darkness, he found himself in a warm, softly lit room. The air was filled with gentle scents, clean, comforting, and safe. No more cold, no more fear, just the gentle hum of home. The walls glowed with warmth, and the floor was soft beneath his paws. For the first time he felt the promise of a new beginning. He explored cautiously, every step revealing new wonders. A bowl of fresh water, a dish piled high with food, and corners filled with soft places to hide or rest. Each discovery was a small miracle, a sign that he was truly safe. For the first time in as long as he could remember, he ate without fear. Each bite was savored, not snatched, and he felt his strength slowly returning. As the day faded, he curled up in a soft bed, purring himself to sleep. The world outside was still cold, but inside he had found warmth, safety, and the gentle beginnings of trust. The little cat explored his new world, soft rugs, warm radiators, and gentle hands. He found bowls of food and water waiting just for him. The person let him settle at his own pace, never rushing. He ate his fill, then curled up in a plush bed by the radiator. The warmth and safety were overwhelming. He purred louder than ever, happiness rumbling in his chest. For the first time he felt truly at home. The lonely shadow had found his light. The cat, now named Marmalade, explored every corner of his new home. Sunbeams, sofas, and playful games filled his days. His personality blossomed, gentle, affectionate, always nearby. He learned the joy of headbutts and evening cuddles. A blue collar with a silver bell marked his belonging. He was no longer a stray but a cherished companion. His fur grew thick and shiny, his eyes bright with contentment. Marmalade and his person shared routines. Morning greetings, afternoon naps, evening snuggles. He had found more than shelter. He had found love and family. He was home for good. Marmalade's world was transformed in ways he could never have imagined. Where once there were cold, hard streets and the uncertainty of each new day, now there were soft rugs beneath his paws and the gentle warmth of a home that welcomed him. Every morning he awoke to the comforting scent of breakfast waiting in his bowl, and every night he drifted to sleep knowing he was safe. The days of searching for scraps and hiding from loud noises were behind him. Instead, his world was filled with gentle sounds, the soft hum of a heater, the quiet laughter of his person, and the soothing melodies of birds outside the window. Fear and hunger faded away, replaced by a sense of peace and belonging that grew stronger with each passing day. Marmalade spent his afternoons perched on the windowsill watching the world go by. He followed the playful dance of birds in the garden and chased sunbeams that stretched across the living room floor. Every corner of his new home became a place of adventure and comfort, a far cry from the shadows he once called home. He purred through every brush and cuddle, soaking up the affection that was now a part of his daily life. Evenings were his favorite time, when the world grew quiet and he could curl up close to his person, feeling the steady rhythm of a loving heart. Curled on his person's lap by the fireplace, Marmalade purred in pure happiness, his eyes half closed in contentment. The gentle crackle of the fire and the soft touch of a caring hand made him feel truly at home. He was no longer a lonely shadow slipping through alleyways, but a cherished member of a family. The warmth of his new life shone all around him, bright and inviting. Marmalade became the heart of a loving home, surrounded by people who cared for him and made him feel special every single day. He was never alone anymore. Laughter and love filled the rooms where he once would have hidden in fear. The cat who once had nothing now had everything he could ever wish for. His own toys, a cozy bed, delicious meals, and a family that adored him. Every day brought new joys and little surprises, from a new toy mouse to a sunbeam just right for napping. He had a name, Marmalade, that was spoken with love. He had a soft bed to call his own, a full tummy, and the comfort of knowing he would never go hungry again. Most importantly, he had someone who loved him deeply, someone who saw him not just as a pet, but as family. Their bond grew stronger with every shared moment, every gentle hug, and every quiet evening spent together. Marmalade's person found their own life transformed too. The house felt warmer, the days brighter, and the quiet companionship of a purring friend brought comfort and joy in ways they never expected. Together, they created a peaceful home, filled with gentle purrs, shared silences, and the simple happiness of being together. Their friendship was built on trust, patience, and the small acts of kindness that make a house a home. It was a simple story, but a powerful one. A story of kindness, trust, and the magic that happens when two souls find each other and choose to care. Sometimes, family is found in the most unexpected places, and love grows in the quiet moments when you least expect it. For Marmalade and his person, their journey together was filled with laughter, comfort, and the joy of knowing they had found each other. And so, in a home built on love and trust, Marmalade's story found its perfectly happy ending.